Hi, boys and girls. Today, I want to read you a story. Before I do that, I want to let you know it's another informational text. This week, we're going to continue with our informational texts. We're actually going to talk some more about ants and how they're social insects, but we're also going to talk about other insects that are social insects and kind of compare them to ants. So what I'm going to read to you today is called The Lives of Social Insects. So there's the cover of the book. And based on that cover, I bet you can guess what one of the insects that you're going to be listening to is about, right? So this week, I have decided, like I said, to continue talking about informational text. We know that the author's purpose is to inform us and give us information. And in this case, it's to give us information about insects that live in social groups like ants. So we're going to do some more comparing and contrasting. We're going to read a little bit more about social insects. We're going to write a little bit more about social insects, and I'll explain more of that later. Right now, I want to read you The Lives of Social Insects. So, have you ever watched a line of ants march off with your cookie crumbs? Some of the crumbs may have been so big that two ants needed to work together to carry them. Some ants are called social insects because they live and work together in communities. Each insect completes tasks that help the community. And we learned about that last week. We talked about how each ant has a job, just like humans have jobs. This honeybee's task is to gather nectar for her hive. There she is, gathering nectar for the hive. A social insect lives in a community home or nest that is a busy center of activity. The insects work together to make their nest their home sweet home. Underneath an ant hill. In this book, there are subtitles. Now, our subtitles should tell us something. So when I read this subtitle, underneath an ant hill, it should make us think, I bet I know what this section is going to be about. Worker ants spend their days digging underground tunnels. Then they pile the excess soil outside the entrance of the nest. This excess soil forms their ant hills. Excess was one of our vocabulary words last week. And remember that means to have more than you need. Ants never leave their nest unprotected. Soldier ants stand guard by the entrance. They watch for invaders and protect the nest from attack. Inside the nest, the tunnels lead to a chamber for the queen ant, chambers for the eggs and babies, a rest area, and a special chamber for garbage. Ants spend a lot of time scurrying back and forth through the tunnels that connect the chambers. And there's a picture of the different ant chambers, and they're all labeled. In an informational text, your pictures and your graphics, and this is going to be more of a graphic or a picture, and information that's in things like boxes or subtitles are very important. And as you can probably see, they also labeled all the little tunnels and sections of the nest. Inside a beehive. So there's my next subtitle. So this tells me something about what I'm going to read about next. Some types of bees are also social insects. Honeybees build hives in dark areas that are well protected, such as inside hollow tree trunks. Honey is the only food insects make that people eat. Each cell in the honeybee hive has 6 sides made of wax. Many honeybees have as many as 100,000 cells. And I'll show you the picture in just a second. And under the picture, it says, many of the cells in a beehive are used for honey storage. And those are what those little cells are. And you can see this looks like it's filled with honey. And it does say that many of those cells are for storage for honey. So the next subheading is termites at home. So I've been talking a little bit about the subheadings, giving you some examples of those subheadings as I read through the book. And those subheadings should make you think, what am I going to read about next? So termites at home, that subheading or subtitle makes me think that I am going to read about what a termite's home is like. So that's what I might say to myself when I get to this subheading or subtitle. Let's see if I'm right. Termites are social insects that form nests either in the ground or inside the wood of a tree or a house. Surprisingly, it is the termites whose nests are underground that do the most damage to people's homes. Underground termites live in very large groups and constantly travel to the nearest wooden structure to get their favorite food, wood. Termites carve tunnels and chambers into the wood as they dine. Only some kinds of ants, bees, and wasps are social insects. However, all kinds of termites are social. So, was I right? Did I learn about how termites live? I did. A hive without wax. Here's another subheading. So I would say that this section I'm going to learn about some sort of beehive or hornet hive or something like that that doesn't have wax in it. Wasps are another type of social insect. Social wasps use dead wood mixed with saliva to build their nests. When the wood paste dries, it forms a paper-like cell. The queen starts adding more chambers as she lays her eggs. However, most of the cells in the hive will be built by worker wasps. Wasp queens sleep the winter away. Worker wasps die in the winter. And you might be familiar with that paper-like We have, that's what the inside looks like. And we've seen one of these in our classroom. And it was that papery-like material. Remember that? Some ants can carry food that weigh a lot more than they do. Here's a picture of an ant. Look at how large that piece of food is that he's carrying. A group effort. Many worker ants help feed the community. When food is scarce near the nest, the ants hunt further from home. They make their trail with a special scent. More workers follow the scent to the food and use it to find their way back home. They share the food with the rest of the ants in the nest. All of the worker ants in a nest are sisters. Their mother is the queen, and her job is to make the eggs. If the queen dies, the whole community will die shortly after. Worker ants spend their days in different ways. Some make the nest larger, while others take care of the eggs or their younger siblings. This dirt was moved above ground by the worker ants. And that's often what we see, right? When we see an ant hill. So that's the excess dirt that they've taken out so they can create those chambers. Hard-working honeybees. Bees build their hives inside hollow trees hanging from tree branches. A beehive buzzes with activity. The worker bees are female. Some tend to the eggs and young in the nest. Others keep the hive clean or make repairs. About 2,000 of the bees in a typical beehive die each day. So some of the workers are also undertaker bees that carry the dead bees away. And there's a picture of a beehive inside a hollowed out part of a tree. Many worker bees take part in making honey. Scout bees locate nectar and report their findings. Then other bees collect nectar and leave pollen at each stop. This way, the plants get the pollen they need to make seeds, and the bees get food for the hive. Back at the hive, the nectar is given to the bees inside the nest. Scout bees perform a special dance that explains to the other bees where the plants with nectar are. And there's another picture of bees. A team of termites. Like other social insects, some termites work as nest builders and food gatherers, while others care for the eggs and young. Unlike other social insects, termites include males in all jobs. There are both queens and kings in a termite nest. Both males and females work as soldier termites to guard the nest. Termite queens produce thousands of eggs every day. Here's a picture. Wasps working hard. Unlike honeybee hives, a wasp nest can be home to several queens. Wasps do not store food, so they must gather it daily. Worker wasps prepare the nest and make it larger. Soldier wasps protect the nest by stinging anyone or anything that comes near. Ouch. So the next time you see any of these social insects, remember that each one has its own special job to do. So you see, not only ants are social insects, but bees, termites, wasps. And here on this page is a little table. And you can see it says ants, honeybees, termites, wasps. And then it says construction, food gathering. So it tells you that ants, the construction is female workers, and the food gathering is female workers. Honeybees is the same. Termites, male and females do the construction and the food gathering. And wasps, queen and females are the workers, and queen and females are the food gatherers. So here is another glimpse of that chart. And I have a question for you to answer for me in Class Dojo. What is the purpose of the chart? Why did they include this chart here at the end of this book? What is the purpose of it? And you can go ahead and answer that question for me right on Class Dojo. You can type it right in and answer that question for me about the lives of social insects. So that's the only question from this book that I have for you today. Thanks, boys and girls. Bye-bye.